Hey gang, welcome back to another video. How you guys doing today? Of course, you know who I am, the myth, the legend, and your host, Mr. Monday Hater. Don't fact check that. And lately I've been thinking, things have been pretty stressful lately. I think everybody can agree on that. And by everybody, of course, I'm talking about myself in specific. I'm so stressed, please help me out. So I thought it'd be a good idea if we all just took a minute to sit back, relax, take a deep breath, and take a look at some comically obscure video games so we can get some sort of moral superiority over the people who made them. And what better place to look for comically obscure video games than everybody's favorite orange Monday-hating cat, Heathcliff. I mean Garfield. So originally, to start things off, I wanted to look at the very first video game based on Garfield. Garfield's Big Fat Hairy Adventure for the Commodore 64 home computer. But then I kind of realized, it's kind of impossible to emulate that, apparently. I mean, it's not really impossible, I'm just like really lazy, so we're just gonna kind of skip ahead a little bit, do a little bit of fast forwarding. It's not like we're gonna be missing much anyways. I mean, it's the Commodore 64 home computer. There are pregnancy tests with more processing power than that. I guess we'll start where all great videos about Garfield video games do. Garfield Caught in the Act, a 2D platformer for the Sega Genesis. Oh boy, I sure can't wait to see what wacky shenanigans Garfield gets caught in the act doing. I'm sure it's really crazy. The story here is that Garfield and Odie somehow just accidentally obliterate John's TV, and when attempting to put it back together with what looks like duct tape, a clothes hanger, and a shrimp, this unexplained alien bug thing zaps Garfield inside the TV, and that's really about all we get. Also, in the literal third panel, they forgot to color in Odie's ears, so I think it's safe to say that my hopes are pretty high for this one. I wasn't exactly expecting Shakespearean writing from a 16-bit game about Garfield though, so I guess let's just talk about the actual gameplay. Is it good? Is it bad? Is it perhaps a little naughty? Probably not that one. Well, the only way to find out is to jump in. Wow, he wasn't kidding, was he? He certainly is inside of a TV. A broken, electrical, messy television interior. You know, I was thinking more like television parodies is what we were gonna be getting into here, but I guess they're taking the literal route with this one. Oh, okay, no, it's the hub world. No, I knew that. I didn't know that. All right, on to level 1. I wonder what TV show we'll be parodying first. Oh, I know this one. No, I don't actually. What the hell is this? Scooby-Doo? It doesn't really seem like it. Well, I guess the other levels will probably be a little bit more obvious with what they're trying to parody. Right off the bat, it's pretty clear what kind of game you're getting into here. It's only the first level, and already everyone has a bone to pick with Garfield. Get it? Bone? Because the first level's a cemetery? Why aren't you laughing? The game does give you a meaty 10 points of health, and there's plenty of recovery items in each stage, but I don't know, it's always just kind of annoying when you're playing a kid's game as a grown man, you just constantly are taking damage. It's not very fair. You got your two main methods of attacking, both of which Garfield is quite known for in the comics. Throwing the bones of the deceased and whacking enemies with what looks like a torch, I think. Oh, and if you were worried that there wouldn't be an overly cryptic boss fight in the first 10 minutes of the game, well, I guess you shouldn't have been worried because there is one. I'm not joking when I say that my first time playing this, for a solid 15 minutes, I couldn't figure out what to do. I kept whacking him, but much like Rasputin, he just wasn't dying, and the bats, oh, the bats. He just kept summoning them and draining my health until I inevitably game over. Turns out, and get this, you have to whack him with the torch when he's vulnerable, and then when he goes inside of the coffin, you have to jump on the coffin, then jump onto the curtains above and pull them down to release sunlight and fry him, which, by the way, the game gives no indication that you can or should do this. This isn't something that ever comes up again either. All the other boss fights in the game are extremely straightforward. Also, you'd think with a concept like Garfield going into television, envisioned that they'd, you know, try and go for like television parodies for each level, but no, every single level is just based off of a time period. You got pirate times, Egyptian times, prehistoric times, racist times, you know, the classics. As with most licensed 2D platformers from this era, it's a kind of a frustrating mess to play. It especially gets bad towards the end when the levels just get way too maze-like for their own good. Like, this is Garfield, you know, it's not that deep. You didn't have to make the Egyptian level an actual tomb to, you know, navigate. Why, yes, no, I love endlessly trying to find the right door to progress. How did you know, game developers? No, I'm having a great time today. Don't worry though, this level is only slightly more painful than actually living in the 50s. The final boss just sucks. I'm just gonna say it. No one else is going to, apparently. I'm calling them out. I'm not even gonna say anything, just look at this. Does this look fun to you? No. No, it doesn't. And if you think it looks fun, you need to get Garfield's boot out of your mouth. Seriously, do you know what that thing's been? I had to save state the hell out of this final boss just to beat it. There's just like no other way. Color me a fake gamer or whatever, but actually, don't do that. My girlfriend watches these and I don't want her to know. Oh, and by the way, your reward for beating the game is 3 comic panels where Garfield gets zapped back into reality, says, "Oh boy, let's do that again," and then shamelessly plugs Jim Davis's name. Sounds about right. It's certainly far from like the worst game I've ever played. I mean, the visuals, the music, the animation, it's all really good. They just kind of forgot the part where, you know, they made a compelling game to play. The important part. This next game is one that I actually played quite a bit of growing up. I don't think I ever really made it past the second world in this game, nor are any of my memories of this game really fond, but the only way to find out if it holds up or not is to play it again as a grown man. So let's try out Garfield: The Search for Pookie on Game Boy Advanced. So the plot here is that while Garfield is sleeping, this group of what I can only assume are mice, I think, break in to steal Garfield's beloved stuffed animal, Pookie. There's no real reason that this takes place at all. I guess they just have like some sort of vendetta against Garfield. You know, the character known for doing absolutely nothing. I have to find him before nightfall or he'll be lost forever? Like, forever? But like, why though? Seriously, why? Like, do lost items within the Garfield universe just get sent to the back rooms after 24 hours? Whatever, let's just start playing the game. Wow, John, you really kind of let the place go, huh? How are you gonna tell me to clean up all the mice in the house, dude, when you can't even clean up after yourself? You got glass laying around, food just sitting out. Apparently you have a mice infestation. It's no wonder Liz won't give you a break, dude. But yeah, as I just implied, our goal in this first batch of levels is to collect these mice scattered throughout each room in John's house and bring them all back to this mouse cage. But the problem comes from the fact that you end up having to backtrack for 3 of the 4 mice each time, since the cage is always either right at the beginning or right at the end of the level, which gets annoying very, very quickly. Like, this would have been such an easy fix if they just put the cage in the middle of the level so everything was within a reasonable distance from each other. Hell, maybe things wouldn't be so bad if Garfield didn't move at the pace of a snail. Seriously, look at this. Who signed off on this? Are we in like a school zone here? Oh, it's really disorienting too, because when you jump, his speed increases like 3-fold. If you look at any of my footage, that's why I'm pretty much always jumping nonstop. It's the only way to get through this game before our solar heat death. After all this shenanigans, the next world takes place outside the house, where your goal is to have Odie follow you along and dig up holes in the search for Pookie. Or at least that's what the game tells you you're supposed to be doing in this world. But no, that's not really the case. In actuality, all you have to do is just get to the end of the level. I mean, Odie does technically dig stuff up, but it's always just food items, which goes towards an extra life, or, you know, sometimes just nothing. This whole world just feels unfinished. I mean, already the main objective isn't even an objective. But also, like, there's this kick move that replaces your normal attack in this world and this world only. And you'd think the purpose would be to kick Odie, but nope. Nope, that doesn't work. They're not even on like the same plane of reality. It's just really confusing. You could take the whole Odie component out of this whole world and nothing would change at all. After this, you go into the city to try and find this street cat mob boss guy or something, but it's pretty much just the same as the previous world. When I did get to the end of this world though and got to the, you know, the street boss mob cat thing, I think my game glitched out. What the hell is going on here? Yeah, maybe getting a game over is kind of a sign it's time to move on. So considering I didn't even just finish that game, I think it's kind of safe to say, how do I put this lightly? It sucks, and I think we're just gonna leave it at that. Maybe there's a little bit of hope for us though, because these last two games I talked about have both been based on the Garfield comics. This next game, however, is based on one of the Garfield live-action movies. Specifically the second one, Garfield: A Tale of Two Kitties. Hopefully it's at least a little bit better than the movie. Actually, I think I'm gonna head down to Blockbuster and check if they have any copies of the movie real quick. Yeah, no, this is a great sign right here. You know you're playing a low-budget movie tie-in game when the title screen is just a PNG of the main character. This looks like it would belong in a Flash game, not an officially licensed 2D platformer on the DS. Well, it's certainly a bad first impression, but maybe the gameplay will be a little bit... Who am I kidding? You all know this isn't the case. This game's gonna fucking suck. So in the first of many levels this game has to offer, your task is to look around in first person as Garfield for this letter that... Oh, okay, and it's over. Great game, guys. 10 out of 10. 9 out of 10. 8 out of 10. Who cares? Wow, sure is nice of Prince to invite Garfield out for dinner. Hopefully he sings Purple Rain. I always loved that one. Okay, so the whole game isn't actually like this, but the real gameplay isn't much to sneeze at, which is good, because I've already ran out of tissues for this week. Basically, you control this hideous model of Garfield in a 2D platformer where your goal is to get to the end of each level. Surprising, I know. Strangely enough though, this game takes place in a 3D space, which is just like really disorienting. The camera angles move automatically, but there's no warning, so you'll often just be trotting along and then get screwed over by the game suddenly deciding it's time to change direction. Oh yeah, and those scattered food items floating around the stage, y'all, let me tell ya, I'm breaking out the y'all for this one. The entire top screen is dedicated to making sure you get every piece of food located in the level, right? Yeah, well, it turns out collecting the food is completely worthless. In fact, worthless might not even be the right term for this. I think impossible might actually be a better suited word for this situation. I'm not even joking. In at least one level, it isn't even possible to get all the food. So even if there is some sort of 100% completion reward, nobody's seen it. So, I've looked up the rest of the game and it's all just kind of more of the same. There's not much to miss here. It's just another lazy tie-in movie game that I'll probably never touch again. Obviously there's a lot more games based on Garfield than the 3 I covered today, so if this video ends up doing well, which it won't, by the way, but if it does, maybe I'll cover more in the future.
Or maybe I'm just lying to you for internet clout. I guess you'll never know.
As always, thanks for watching, gang. I hope your next Monday is one not full of hatred, but of living in the moment. Go for that extra plate of lasagna with your dinner. Ask out that veterinarian you've been crushing on since high school. And of course, don't forget to feed your lovable fat orange happy cat.
Don't forget, John. I know you're watching, John. You better feed me, John.